Beneath the turquoise waters of the Caribbean, there is a creature so beautiful it makes divers hold their breath the first time they see it. But this same creature causes economic damage estimated at hundreds of millions of dollars every year. With soft fins fanned out like an exotic dancer, stripes of red and white interweaving like Japanese lacquer, and long spines like a lion's mane, it holds a toxin that brings excruciating pain to anyone foolish enough to touch it. It possesses a beauty that is almost surreal, too perfect for anyone to believe that this very animal is driving the Caribbean ecosystem into the worst crisis in its modern history. The fish is called the lionfish. Known scientifically as Pterois volitans and Pterois miles, it is an icon of the Indo-Pacific, where it has existed in natural balance for millions of years. But when transported to waters where it does not belong, that beauty turns into a sharp blade. It does not slash violently, but cuts slowly, silently, and with deadly precision. In less than 2 decades, lionfish have reduced the native fish populations on some Caribbean reefs by 65 to 80%. In some places, biodiversity has plummeted so sharply that people describe the coral reefs not as forests, but as graveyards. Can you imagine that? An aquarium pet that once swam in small glass tanks in Florida is now devouring the entire ocean. The story begins with things that seemed harmless. In the 1980s, the saltwater aquarium industry in the US exploded. The lionfish became a high-priced item because of its regal beauty, grace, and how easy it was to keep. But when they grew larger, stronger, and harder to care for, many owners did what humans often do with things they no longer want to be responsible for. They released them into the ocean. It was not a conspiracy, and there was no intent to destroy. It was simply ignorance. But in the world of invasive biology, sometimes a small action is enough to trigger a tragedy that lasts for centuries. However, the story was never as simple as 1 or 2 hobbyists releasing a strange creature into the sea. Genetic sequencing studies from the Atlantic reveal something much more shocking. It was not just one lineage of lionfish that was released, but at least 9 different genetic lines, all tracing back to the Florida aquarium trade. About 93% of them belong to the species Pterois volitans. In other words, this invasion did not start from a freak accident, but from a chain of mistakes repeated right here on American soil. These released individuals quickly adapted to the warm Caribbean waters, where no natural predators were equipped to control them. Sharks were not interested. Groupers could not eat them fast enough, and large fish did not recognize them as prey. An ecological void was created, a promised land accidentally manufactured by humans. And with no enemies to worry about, the lionfish began doing what they do best: eating and reproducing without pause. A single female can release up to 30,000 eggs every 4 days, and they can breed year-round in warm waters. The eggs are encased in a mucus sac that helps them float, drifting on ocean currents for hundreds of miles. They waste no energy swimming, they do not fight, and they do not need to seek shelter. The ocean itself carries the next generation to conquer new lands. Coral reefs, seagrass beds, and shallow coastal waters become their new settlements. Every egg that hatches, every larva that survives, is a soft but ruthless declaration of territory by this beautiful yet terrifying fish. Science calls the lionfish a perfect storm invasive species. They mature quickly, live a long time for up to 15 years, possess defensive venom, have no natural enemies, and have a terrifying ability to adapt. They thrive from shallow waters of just a few feet down to depths of 1,000 feet. In the pitch-black darkness where sunlight creates zero visibility, lionfish still hunt proficiently by sensing water pressure instead of using sight. What does that mean? It means the majority of the territory they occupy lies where divers cannot go. Humans can access less than 5% of the true empire of this fish. The rest lies in the darkness, where they breed and expand with nothing to stop them. They possess every factor needed to defeat an ecosystem. Do you know what a lionfish meal consists of? Almost anything smaller than they are. Studies record over 70 species of fish and invertebrates as prey for lionfish. This includes butterfly fish, parrotfish, juvenile snapper, and juvenile grouper. These are species that play a critical role in keeping algae populations in check and protecting coral reefs from being suffocated by moss and algae. When these fish disappear, the coral does not just lose a companion, it loses its chance to survive. A healthy coral reef is like a bustling city. Grazers clean the streets, predators balance the population, and crustaceans maintain the foundation. When the lionfish enters, it eats them all. Imagine a stranger coming to a city, not breaking down walls or burning houses, but silently making the residents vanish. By the next morning, that city is just an abandoned urban shell. That is the Caribbean today. NOAA records that the economic damage caused by lionfish across the Caribbean and Florida could reach hundreds of millions of dollars annually. This comes from the decline in fisheries, the weakening of ecosystems, the loss of diving tourism, and the cost of control measures. Some models predict that if left unchecked, indirect damages could exceed $1 billion in the coming decades. That is a massive number for a fish that started in a small glass tank. But the scariest thing is not the money, it is the speed. In just 15 years, lionfish spread from Florida to the entire Caribbean, the Gulf of Mexico, then down to Venezuela, Colombia, Bermuda, and even up the continental shelf of the eastern United States. They move so fast that a researcher once said, "If you want to visualize the spread of lionfish, look at a map of a wildfire. The only difference is that this fire is underwater." Yet amidst the tragedy, nature always leaves a crack for hope if humans are persistent enough. Caribbean fishermen have tried everything. They organize lionfish hunting derbies, where hundreds of divers go into the water, not for sport, but to save the reefs. On a good day, a group of divers can catch over 1,000 fish. It sounds like a lot, but compared to their reproduction rate, it is like skimming foam off the waves. Still, any intervention is better than giving up. And now, are you ready to step into a lionfish hunt that is just as harsh as the work of fishermen in the Bering Sea? Before the sun has even risen above the horizon, while the Caribbean Sea is still dark like stained glass, professional lionfish hunters quietly slip into the water. No noise, no breaking bubbles, just the sound of steady breathing through regulators and flashlight beams cutting thin slices of light through the cold water. They do not carry bulky harpoon guns like in Hollywood movies. The only thing they have is a short pole spear, a tiny sword of the ocean, and focus sharp enough to see through every crevice in the rocks. At a depth of 65 feet, the scene begins to emerge like an underwater stage, waiting for the villain to take the center spot. Yellow butterfly fish, purple fairy basslets, and blue tangs are still nibbling on algae, oblivious among the pale pink coral branches. But in the shadows behind a rock niche, a red and white streak flashes. Then one, then two, then three, all standing still like living lanterns. They show no caution. They do not flee. They gently spread their fins wide like circus artists opening a mesmerizing act. Their beauty is too perfect for the small fish to realize that death is staring them right in the face. For the hunter, this moment is everything. If the thrust is too fast, the spear tip will miss. If they hesitate for a second, the lionfish will drift away and vanish into the rocks like a ghost. A diver from Turks and Caicos once said, "Hunting lionfish is like defusing a bomb underwater. The only difference is that this bomb can swim. Because while lionfish do not attack humans, their toxic spines are no joke. Just one light prick is enough to cause a diver pain so intense they might drop their gear or panic, which is the most dangerous thing that can happen underwater." The hunter stops breathing for a second, aims carefully, thrusts the spear, thwack. The spear tip pierces the lionfish, and in a split second, the surrounding school of small fish scatters like shattered stardust. The hunter holds tight, moving fast as lightning, using a specialized containment tube to trap the lionfish inside to avoid the toxic spines. One fish, then two, then a dozen in a single morning. But when they look up at the panorama of the reef, seeing the dead white patches, the areas covered only in algae, the empty spaces with no juvenile fish, they realize a truth that is both tragic and bitter. No matter how many they catch, humans are only trying to pull back a few grains of sand while a flood continues to pour in. The hunters know they cannot win completely, but every lionfish brought out of the water gives a patch of coral a chance to breathe for one more day. Chefs in the US and the Caribbean have begun turning lionfish into food because their meat is actually delicious. It is white, flaky, sweet, and completely safe once the toxic spines are removed. Many high-end restaurants serve lionfish as a way to eat, to save the reef, a slogan that is both ironic and accurate. In the Florida Keys, lionfish meat has become a new specialty, helping to activate a small but meaningful supply chain. Some supermarkets have even started selling lionfish fillets as a sustainable product. However, no matter how hard humans try, the lionfish remains a master of adaptation. Nature cannot be turned around as quickly as we wish, and the answer becomes clearest when we observe them doing what they do best: hunting, quietly but with a precision that makes your skin crawl. Blue light penetrates the water surface, illuminating pale pink coral arches, bright yellow butterfly fish, and blue tangs eating algae like diligent workers. But hidden between the rock crevices, a red and white shadow flickers. Then one, then three, then a whole pack. They do not rush. They do not stalk like typical predators. They simply and slowly expand their fins, a movement so beautiful it is deceptive, and the school of small fish facing them is instantly paralyzed with fear. It is not the poison that makes them freeze. It is the shape. The soft, flowing fins make the small fish think this is just part of the coral reef. And in that exact moment, the lionfish launches its attack. A suction strike 15 times faster than the blink of an eye, strong as a vacuum, so fast that almost no prey can react. It is too fast for the human eye to catch. But what gives ecologists chills is not just how they eat, but how much they eat. Research in the Bahamas shows that lionfish digest prey in just 4 to 6 hours, much faster than native fish, which take 10 to 14 hours. This means they can eat 3 to 4 meals a day. A mature adult can eat 20 to 50 juvenile fish in 24 hours. Imagine that multiplied by every pack, every reef, every year without natural enemies. A study in the Bahamas showed that in just 5 weeks, a coral reef with lionfish present could lose 65% of its juvenile fish population. Try to picture that repeating on the scale of the entire Caribbean. But this story is not just about cold numbers or chilling warnings. It is a mirror reflecting how humans treat nature. We too easily choose the convenient solution today only to pay the price tomorrow. And because of that, the lionfish has become a paradoxical symbol. The most beautiful species is the most dangerous. Some divers say that the lionfish looks like a toxic flower under the sea, and the more beautiful the flower, the higher the poison. A sting from their spines causes pain that feels like bones are shattering into pieces. Although rarely fatal, lionfish venom can cause severe pain for days, swelling, and sometimes anaphylactic shock. A reminder that beauty in nature often comes with a steep price. But perhaps the most terrifying thing about the lionfish is not the poison, not the speed of reproduction, nor the deceptive beauty. It is the ability to silence the ocean. A peaceful ocean is good, but a silent ocean means the ocean is dying. When small fish disappear, the familiar crackling sound of pistol shrimp, the sound of living coral, the sound of schools of fish swimming, all of it diminishes. Scientists describe reefs invaded by lionfish as forests stripped of birds. No sound, no movement, no life cycle. A peace that represents despair. But like every story about nature, there is always a small light at the end of the tunnel. New technology is being tested. Robots that hunt lionfish, underwater drones using AI recognition, and smart traps that do not catch the wrong species. Community campaigns organize annually to catch lionfish. Food festivals turn them into the star of the dinner table. And specifically, programs encourage citizens to eat lionfish to save the reefs. Even though we know we are only slowing them down, not reversing it completely, humans continue to try. Because giving up is not an option at a time when the ocean needs us more than ever. And when looking back at what is happening, we realize that the lionfish story is not just a Caribbean story. It is not just a coral story. It is not just a Florida coast story. This is a story for all of humanity. It is a story about how a small decision by humans can create a chain reaction larger than imagination. An aquarium fish released into the sea sometime in the 80s is now rewriting the ecological structure of an ocean region spanning millions of square miles. When a tiny creature can change the economy of an island nation, shake the future of the fishing industry, threaten coral reef ecosystems, and cause damage reaching hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars, we understand that the ocean is not vast enough to hide every human mistake. Every mistake has a price, and nature always collects its debt in a way that is silent but unavoidable. Do not forget to like the video, hit subscribe, and follow the channel. Maybe you will join us in thinking of ways to save the ocean, even if it is just one small action. So, when you see a lionfish swimming amidst the blue water, beautiful as a living painting, remember that beauty is telling our own story. A story about carelessness, about consequences, and about the hope that humans still have the ability to fix our mistakes if we act in time.